What's up, you guys? It's Lawrence from Sim Coaches, and this video is going to be pretty interesting because I want to dive deep into what I believe the future of sim racing is going to look like. There are so many new technologies that are coming out, so much new stuff that's actually going to impact the sport that you and I love. And just looking, further ahead, into the future, I want to actually kind of show what I believe where we're going. Now, this is pretty interesting for me to talk about, and I could probably go on for a really long time of what I think we're going to have. I mean, some of you guys remember it was months ago, even maybe at this point, even a year and a half ago, where I was saying that we are going to get to a time where we have AI coaching. We have AI technology that's basically able to coach you out there on the racetrack. And now look at what we have. We have all these companies that are popping up, different AI coaching platforms. That's coming, or that's already happened, really, honestly. And it's becoming a lot more mainstream. All the coaching companies now are jumping on board doing AI coaching because it just makes sense. That's what's going to happen. Being able to analyze all the driver's data and basically compile it and teach a system on how to basically decipher that information and how to relay it to the driver in a much easier way is the future. And well, it has happened. Did you guys know that drivers are swapping over to hour pedals every single day, and they're finding a huge amount of success going faster on the track, being more consistent, and really just being competitive in the races that they weren't competitive before in the past? Well, if you're having trouble actually driving at your limit and you know that you're able to go faster on the simulator, you're probably right. The problem is you might just not have the equipment that actually allows you to go as fast as you're trying to. So here's what you gotta do. If you want a special offer on Sim Coaches equipment, send me a text right now at 702-246-2295, and I'll make you a special offer that nobody else gets anywhere else, okay? But you gotta send me a text, 702-246-2295. All right, guys, let's get back to the video. I expect to see a text from you. About 2 years ago, I came out and I was talking about how we're going to find and we're going to see a whole lot of different simulator places start popping up where you can go in and you can literally just drive on a simulator that's not yours. An actual business, a place where you can go and you can entertain yourself. And now look at how mainstream simulator complexes are becoming. Little businesses showing up where they're popping up, open up a storefront, throw 10 simulators in there, and they rent time to you to drive on the simulator. All these things just make sense. It's so clear, it's so obvious to understand where we're going. Well, in this video, I'm gonna get so in detail about something that's so much larger about both of those two ideas. It's the idea of how NFTs are going to rapidly revolutionize the way that sim racing works. And honestly, they're gonna change the way that our entire life is lived. But I'm gonna go really into detail here about how sim racing is going to get affected by NFTs. Now, if you're not yet familiar what an NFT is, an NFT is a non-fungible token. It's basically this kind of like an authenticity or certificate of authenticity, if you will, to know that maybe something that you bought is legit. It could be even like a one-of-one of an art piece. That's what we all saw earlier this year blow up. It was all the little art clips that designers were making and then selling them for huge amounts of money. I mean, money that just isn't even comprehensible to think that like a little JPEG can go for that much money. But the thing is those two use cases are not actually going to be the use cases that are going to take NFTs moving forward. That was kind of just the laying the ground, kind of proof of concept stuff. Now, speaking about NFTs, NFTs are smashing, almost like you smashing the subscribe button right now so you could follow us in our current videos that we have coming out every single day. So smash that subscribe button. Well, what I want you to do while you're watching this video is I really want you to think about all of this with as much of an open mind as you possibly can, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of this stuff I was turned off by in the very beginning. I was like, dude, I don't want that. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to research any of this. But as time has gone on and I've learned more and I've kind of spoken to a lot more people, I've really started to understand that, hey, we can't hold this technology back. In fact, it's actually going to properly benefit all of us as long as we use this in the right way. Now, of course, every single technology that is made could be used for evil, right? We all know that. It's unfortunate. That's not what this is about. This is about how NFTs can drastically improve our lives and make our lives more of a user-specific life. Now, that's a really interesting thought. So, I'm gonna come back around to that as we just move a little bit further into the video. I wanna start off first by talking about what an NFT is. It's a non-fungible token. basically, these tokens are kind of digitized and they're put on something that's called the blockchain. Now, if you're not familiar with the blockchain is, the blockchain is actually the technology that is extremely revolutionary outside of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency 100% works only because we have the blockchain to make it work. So the blockchain, again, if you're not familiar, essentially is a ledger. It's kind of like where every single the transaction is recorded. You can almost imagine if there was a person that was like sat there and just kind of wrote on a piece of paper that said like, yeah, Lawrence bought this from Ralph, or Ralph paid sim coaches for this, and every single thing was recorded on this public ledger. But the thing that makes it so revolutionary is that it's not that it's a ledger, right? Because we have those. It's the fact that the ledger cannot be screwed with. It basically gets saved on all of the computers that are on the node network. These transactions kind of like flow through each one of them. And so because of that, if you wanted to actually change the ledger, you wouldn't be able to just change it on one PC. You would have to access all the PCs that this runs through and then change it on every single one. So as you can imagine, that's just impossible. You can't do it, because if you didn't change the ledger on all the PCs, then there would always be one or two whatever PCs that have the original ledger on it, right? And every single ledger in the blockchain has to actually match. If it doesn't match, then that's when it doesn't actually properly record. The thing about the way blockchain works and with the ledger is basically when a transaction comes through the blockchain, then it turns into a block. This is where it gets its name. Essentially, it's like a block. And then after this block of information gets approved, then that block actually joins the chain of blocks. And these blocks now basically kind of link themselves together. And so as a new block gets approved, it gets added on to the backside of this chain, and it constantly just puts new blocks, new blocks, new blocks. So if you wanted to actually edit one of these things, you would have to go all these blocks back to go back and edit it. It's just not possible, because you have all these other transactions that have happened after that are all tied to that same block, right? They don't have to be transactions at all that are similar to one another or even related in any way. It's just the fact that the way that the ledger works is it takes these blocks, and after the individual blocks are approved, it chains them all together and it makes them kind of like a string of these blocks. This basically makes it impossible to edit these things. That's the value in the blockchain, okay? It's kind of like just being as transparent as you possibly can with everything. It's super interesting. It's really cool. Now, I want you to understand the things I'm gonna talk about in this video, there's still a ways that we have to go before this stuff actually hits. But I want you to actually start thinking about it and understanding how this technology can change everything for you and I, because it's very interesting. This is a world basically that we've never entered in before. This technology is extremely revolutionary. If you can think back, I'm pretty young, but I can still think back of when I was a little kid and we had dial-up, right? And like nobody could be on the phone while somebody else was on the internet. You just couldn't do those two things together. And how revolutionary it was when basically now we have Wi-Fi and we have internet networks and we have all these things that allow us to basically do everything simultaneously with one another. We're about to go through a shift that is major, just like this. And this stuff's just so exciting to think about, you know, where we're headed, where we're going, because it's just it's an uncharted world. People like you and I, we're the ones that are basically gonna have the opportunity to navigate us through this thing. And that's what's so exciting, is we're jumping into a new foreground where basically nobody's been before. Nobody has been here. So when you think about the future being bright, man, you know, I just love it, dude, I love it. And you can probably tell already how excited I am, and I'm getting a little bit off track. So let's revert back. Let's take a step back, okay? I talked about what blockchain was, I talked about what NFTs are. Now, the NFTs with the blockchain technology, this is what's gonna be really cool. If you haven't realized already, our lives as human is kind of becoming gamified. They're making things more like a video game for each one of us, right? We're entering a world where VR is a huge thing. You put on your VR goggles and you can kind of look around and you can see the imaginary world around you that based on whatever it is that the developers program on the screen. We're coming to a point where you have huge technological companies like Apple and Google and all these other companies that are trying to basically introduce AR, augmented reality, into our lives as well. If you're not familiar with AR is, or augmented reality, definitely look into that, because this is going to be the new technology that they're going to introduce out to us. Now, when AR and VR really start taking over the world and augmented reality becomes a thing for like each one of us in the life that we're living, this is when you're going to see a huge shift in the gamifying of our lives. I want to explain to that and kind of like go a little bit deeper into what that means. I was just at a talk, this is 2 weeks ago now. I was at a big marketing conference and Tom Bilyeu was there and Tom was talking. If you're not familiar with Tom Bilyeu, he's the founder of Quest Nutrition that he sold for $1 billion. And he also runs the podcast Impact Theory. Really brilliant guy. I love listening to him talk. Tom was going into detail about NFTs and how NFTs are going to shift our life and how they're going to really change everything that we're aware of. The biggest thing that Tom talked about that really threw the light bulb off in my head was how NFTs could be user specific. And for a business, this is extremely interesting because I want you to imagine you have a digital wallet and think of the NFT kind of like maybe like a credit card or a debit card that you have inside your wallet. This is something that is always going to be traveling with you as your digital presence kind of moves across the digital world. You go on, different websites. Your digital wallet would be able to identify to that website who this person is. You're playing different video games. Maybe you can get digital, like let's just say like digital like trophies or keys or whatever these things are. These things will all be NFTs, non-fungible tokens. A little bit different again from what we are familiar with an NFT being today. But here's where it gets really interesting. Tom was talking about how, let's imagine in that video game that you're playing, since it's gonna become really gamified of our life, in that video game, you can actually unlock or maybe win or whatever it may be, given even a special NFT that's specific to you. Now, let's say that as you go through this video game, you kind of like level up the character or whatever it is that you're playing as. Well, now, you can actually be given an NFT that actually shapes your real life. Because as you, let's just say, put some goggles on, these AR goggles, now in your digital wallet, with the AR goggles, right, you would probably agree with me that the AR, augmented reality, now you're really opening up the digital world because with augmented reality, you can see things through your eyes that actually aren't there, they're not really around you, they're literally just placed there from the augmented, the AR technology. So imagine this, okay? The video game that you're playing, boom, you've just been given a key card, whatever it may be. You throw your goggles on. Now you're really in the digital world with your own being, your own person, you, right? Your real living self. But because you have this key in your digital wallet, now it identifies you in real life as being, let's just say, maybe a special person, maybe a high level person, maybe somebody that's beaten a video game. And what these companies can do now, because you got that key card, is they can give you a user-specific world. So you put the goggles on, you got the key card in your wallet. Now you notice that there's green arrows on the ground in front of you in real life. You follow those green arrows, you're walking along, you keep on following them around. Imagine just like you would in a video game that shows these things. And then you get to the end of the green arrows and there's a door right there, augmented reality door. Totally not real in real life, but it's there in the AR world. And now you have that key card. You have the card in your digital wallet that allows you to open up that door. The other people around you can't see that door. They don't have that special key that you got from the video game you were playing. But now with that key, that video game that you're playing gave you that key, and you can pull that key out of your digital wallet and you can actually open up that door. And now you've accessed a VIP club that the only other people that are in there are the people that were playing that video game that unlocked that door, that got that key card. And now that's a completely user-specific world that you are living in that's completely augmented. It's completely not part of real reality, it's part of augmented reality. And that's the gamifying of your life that I'm talking about. This is so interesting, you guys. This is gonna change so much stuff. This is gonna change the entire world as we know it, okay? Here's something for businesses. I want you to think about this for businesses, where this will be going there. Let's say that a business notices that you are one of their top customers. You like maybe you're like really engaged in the community, or maybe you like spend a lot of money with them, or whatever it is, whatever these people want to make it out to be. Well, now when you go to their website, you go to simcoaches.com. Well, you're a top tier customer, let's say. You're a gold tier, you're a platinum tier customer. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up. But now you actually see different deals than everybody else, because the website is able to identify specifically who you are because of what it is that you're holding inside your digital wallet. You have the platinum tier customer key, or let's just say NFT, because that's what this is all gonna be. It's all gonna be NFTs. You hold the platinum tier NFT from SimCoaches in your wallet. So because of that, now you see platinum tier stuff on the website that maybe, let's just say, a gold tier person with the gold tier NFT is not gonna see. Are you guys understanding this? Are you seeing how big this is? I mean, this is a major deal. This is really going to, again, make the world that we live in very user specific. And it's so exciting. The way that this is gonna impact sim racing is so exciting, because think about sim racing, right? Racing in real life. You basically get to the point where like you're winning races, you're getting trophies, you're getting all these different things, and that impacts the way that you progress through your racing career in real life. Well, sim racing could be literally exactly the same way. It's like you won the championship this year for Formula 3 on iRacing. Well, dude, you have the Formula 3 championship NFT. For 2022, you are the F3 champion. And that gets recorded down, and now you come to the SimCoaches website, and it's like, oh, the F3 champion is on our website. What? That's wicked. Let's give him special deals. Let's get him to work with us. Let's get him to blah, blah, blah. Let's do all these things, right? And the only way that we were able to do that was because we were able to identify who you were off of this digital NFT that you hold inside your digital wallet. Guys, this is so big. Oh my gosh. This is this is such a big deal. And in my mind goes in so many different ways of like where this is going to be used, where the way that's going to transition, the way it's going to like it's going to really shape everything that we're all used to right now, because man, in 10 years it's going to be a completely different world. Now, there's, like I said, still technologies that we have to get to. There's things that we have to actually still make and put into like production and basically kind of like make it to where the entire world uses these things. You know, the only way that we can actually like identify a customer that comes to a website is it has to be built on the Web 3.0 platform. And Web 3.0 is a whole nother talk for another time. I mean, that's just a whole nother section. But Web 3.0 would be the internet that we're aware of today, working on the blockchain server that crypto and all these other things work on. And because the web internet service basically would work on the blockchain, then the blockchain would always be verifying NFTs or who it is that's at your website, or all these different things, because people can't lie about it. You literally can't lie. Now, when you talk about Web 3.0 and NFTs and all these things, people kind of have a lot of pushback on it. But let me tell you, Web 3.0 and the way that that thing works is actually really cool, and it's very beneficial to every single one of us, because right now we are living in a time where you have huge technology companies that own your data, right? You have Facebook. Facebook knows more about you than you know about you. And if you don't believe me on that, then you're wild, because Facebook has so much information on you and you've forgotten so much information about you. So they know more about you than you know about you. Okay, that's a big problem for me. I don't like that. I don't like that there's a company out there that's basically able to predict what I'm thinking in my head before I actually think it. And we've all seen this before, right? Where maybe you're talking to somebody about a conversation, and then you go on Facebook and you have an ad about that product. Okay, Facebook isn't actually just sitting there listening on your mic. That's not what's happening. Facebook is extremely good at being able to predict what it is that you're interested in. And it's because they have so many data points on you that when these things start lining up in their back-end server, that's when they start showing it to you. Okay, they are so good at predicting these things. And a lot of the times they maybe don't get it right, but that's the times where you don't actually click it off in your head. We're like, oh my God, I was just talking about that. But you have the 1 out of 10, the 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 times where it's like you were just having the conversation and they also predicted it right at the right time. And because of that, then we're like, oh my God, that's weird. I was just talking about that. Was Facebook listening? Right? We've all had this conversation before. So Web 3.0 and NFTs, what this actually does is it puts us all in control of our data. It puts us all in control of everything that we do online. And having that shift between like companies, technology companies owning your data and then like you getting that data back, that's really gonna be a really cool deal. You'll have the opportunity to sell your data to companies if you want, right? It's like Facebook actually has to pay you now for them to access this data versus you being sweating over here, sweating bullets because you're like, oh my God, Facebook knows so much about me. That's kind of weird. No, the role's completely reversed with this new technology and the way that it's going. I know how humans are. A lot of the times when new things get introduced, the biggest reaction from humans is we have a pushback, right? We kind of fight it. We don't like change. We don't like these things. And of course, there's going to be things and in the Web 3.0, the blockchain, the NFTs that are not going to be right? It's not going to be ideal. This happens with all brand new technology that's out there. But it's all of our jobs to really try to shift and shape this thing to where it all gets to where we can use it to as positive of a use case as possible. Of course, there's weird people out there that do things that are not ideal. We all know that, but that's, in my opinion, a small percentage of the people that we have out there in the world. Most people don't want to do wrong with one another. Most people don't want to harm one another. Most of us just want to love one another. We want to enjoy the presence of one another. We want to see one another win. We want to see one another exceed. That's majority of humans that are out there in the world. The small percentage of people, I don't even like thinking about the things that they could do because it just makes me mad. Because that's not how I am. I don't like how people take advantage of one another. It's all, it's all love over here on this side of the world. But guys, I'm getting kind of really off topic now. Going back to the way that this is going to change sim racing, you can actually now have, you can get winnings from your races. You can get paid by companies just for winning races because these things will be recorded. You can get bigger sponsorships for your sim racing career because again, it's all recorded. You actually have these things in your digital wallet that prove that you are who you are. Now, of course, you have iRacing stats and all these different stats, blah, 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 but that really doesn't matter to companies. It doesn't really mean that much to companies. But when there's a way that companies are actually able to identify a walking human that actually is walking around the world and give them specials and give them offers and like literally make it user specific for who it is that's crossing in front of you, that's when these things really become interesting. That's when companies are like, man, I want that F3 champion, man, that guy, yeah. He's part of sim coaches. Racing teams, right? Racing teams seeing who the best drivers are and being able to compensate those best drivers for taking their racing team up to the top. These are all things that are going to happen, you guys. This is stuff, you give it another 5 years, give it another 10 years, give it 15 years, the entire world we're in is gonna completely change in a really big way. So what can you do to prepare, right? Because there's so much stuff right now that's just so confusing. It's really hard to understand a lot of these technologies. Honestly, the thing that's really cool is all of us can participate in purchasing these things and whatnot. The one thing to understand about NFTs, we all just watched the NFT craze go off where people were buying NFTs for unbelievable amounts of money and then their price value just kept going up and up and up and up through the roof. Well, all of those values that went so unbelievably high, they've all crashed. They're basically not worth nearly what people were paying at their high anymore. NFTs don't have value in investments. That's not the value in NFTs. And as time goes on, people will start to realize that it's just not a smart investment to be purchasing an NFT, thinking that if you give it, I don't know, 5 years, you'll be a multi-millionaire. That's not what you should be looking at. That's not where you should even be putting your money. That's not a good investment. When you think about NFTs, think more about how they can actually make a user-specific world, how they can shape the world that you're living in to actually match what it is that you're interested in. Different video games will be giving out different NFTs that'll unlock user-specific worlds for that video game. As a sim racer, you'll get different NFTs that'll just reinforce you as a sim racer in real life. I mean, any market really, every single market out there is gonna get shifted with NFTs. Everything is gonna get changed when this really starts to become mainstream. As larger companies start to come out with the AR goggles, that's when we're gonna see the shift actually begin to happen. Because now we can put things on the goggles screen, on the glasses, whatever it might be, that sure, you can see the real world that's around you, but on top of the real world that's around you, you also have the augmented world that only you can see and only you can access. So guys, this is really kind of the first video that I'm talking about this, but as I start to learn more and my mind starts to get a little bit clearer and I start to understand kind of where we're going, the path on this, I'm gonna continue to talk about this, because me just talking about it, vocalizing it, helps me understand and actually think through where I believe this stuff is going. And I'm always testing my beliefs. Could I be wrong? Yeah, of course I could be wrong. I might not be right at all. I might be like literally 180 degrees off of where this thing is headed. But I don't believe that I am. I think that yes, this is on the right track. This is the path that we are headed towards, and it only makes sense for a user-specific world to be the world that we're living inside of. Again, I know that's scary for a lot of us, but if you think about the positives and really how this can help each one of us, man, it's actually really freaking cool. This stuff excites me. I'm loving it, and I'm all here for it, let's be honest. So guys, in the comments below, do me a favor. Let me know what you guys think about NFTs. Where do you actually see this world headed? Do you see us heading towards a really cool, positive world, or do you actually like you have huge amounts of pushback and you're like, I don't want any part of this. I don't even want to think about NFTs. I don't want to think about any of that stuff at all because I don't trust it. All right. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, leave us a comment, and even subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. That subscriber count is moving fast now. Oh my gosh, it actually gets me super excited, because the more people that are subscribed to this channel, the more people find out about sim coaches, and the more lives that we're actually able to impact in the sim racing world. So with that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna close this video off, but enjoy the rest of your day, your night, wherever it is that you're out in this world, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.